Springtime for Hitler. I mean, isn't that such an inviting name to a play? Something that would make you want to take your whole family to go see. A play that would make money far more than any other one. Some play that would be playing for years and years and years to come. Obviously, with a title like that, that's not going to happen. Now, that's exactly what the producers of the play wanted when creating it. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, let me explain. The film that I decided to do for my video vlog was called The Producers. Now, the reason I chose this film is because I feel like it changed the way that movies were made into Broadway productions. Now, don't get me wrong, it was 40 years from when the film was first released until it made its way onto Broadway. So let me explain on why I think it changed it. So, in the film, there's two main characters. The first one, his name is Max Baileysock, and he's played by Zero Mostel. And then there's Leo Bloom, who is played by Gene Wilder, also known as Willy Wonka. And them two, they feed off each other like I've never seen before. Now in the film, Max Baileysock is a producer who has produced very successful Broadway shows in the past. But as of years late, he's very down on his luck. He hasn't produced anything successful in a long time. It's just been flop after flop after flop. So he hires a new accountant to look at his numbers, and his new accountant is Leo Bloom. Now, when he's going through paperwork, Leo realizes that there's a way that they can make more money than they can ever make with any successful film in history. And by that, they have to create a massive surefire flop that will end after the first night. And so that's what they set out to do. Hence the name Springtime for Hitler for the play they decide. Now, I won't give any more spoilers away, so you have to watch it yourself if you want to see what happens. But the second reason I think that the film changed the way Broadway movies or Broadway shows are made for movies is because the comedy and the type of film that it was set up perfectly for a transition onto the Broadway stage. I mean, the characters were so fun. They were funny. They were hilarious. They were loud. They were exaggerated with their motions. They were throwing things. They were jumping on tables. They were screaming at each other. It was a perfect slapstick comedy like we talked about in the books, and it was something that I enjoyed very much. And the two actors, they worked together perfectly. Like I said, Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder, I definitely would have watched more movies if they were wearing them together. Unfortunately, they're not. So, stuck with this one. But like I said, it's a great movie. I very much enjoyed it. And the way that the comedy was set up was a perfect transition from the film world into Broadway stage. Now, Broadway, they changed it a little bit. They added more songs for themselves to sing. They added a little bit more musical numbers, more dancing. Obviously, they changed it a little bit to make it more Broadway stage appropriate, but even still, it was a great transition. It was perfectly set up to go from film to the stage. Now, the other reason why I think that it was changed so much for Broadway shows and movies is how massive of a success it was. The movie itself was a great success. I mean, it wasn't the number one movie during its time, but it's definitely made a lot more money than what it was made for worth. Great movie. But the play itself was a massive success. It played over 6 years. The characters were played by multiple different actors. Tony Danza was in one. Matthew Broderick from Ferris Bueller's Day Off played one. I mean, like I said, there's massive amounts of characters, massive different amounts of actors played them. And even with the different actors, it still almost made $300 million over 6 years, which is almost unheard of. And it's a great play and a great movie. So the success of the play is one of the reasons why I think it changed the way movies were made into Broadway shows. Now, Broadway and musicals aren't really my, cup of tea. So I felt like I should go out of my way and choose a different movie to do my different kind of movie than I usually like for my video vlog, which is exactly what I did. So I must say I enjoyed the film. The actors, like I said, were great. They were funny. They played off each other so well, even with the third character that was about a secondary character but had a big part in the movie. His name was Franz Lipkind, and he was played by Kenneth Mars. The three of them, they played off beautifully together, especially, towards the end when different things were happening in the movie. I won't give you more spoilers, but like I said, they were hilarious. Movie in and of itself is great. Even though that the Broadway show was made 40 years later than the movie, I still think that this movie is a big reason why you see a lot of movies nowadays on the Broadway show, or, vice versa. So, again, I feel like this movie changed the way that movies were made onto Broadway shows. Thank you for listening, and thank you for a great class again. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy your night.